everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Codex Podcast. I'm your host, the guy who messed up about 20 times last week and combed his hair, Sonny Kruger. With me, as usual, my co-hosts. One is the guy who forgot where Sinestro was from, Jamie Wojcik. The other is Mr. 1.5 shot himself, Tim Morse.
See how that works?
How's it going?
I didn't mean to forget about Sinestro. We were just in the realm of things, and I got fizzled. It's not hard.
I'll always have to get you on there because you're such a Green Lantern fan.
I know. I was so upset, but then last week I did redeem myself.
Yes. Jamie's redemption, last week's episode. Jamie won, Do You Know? Today we'll have more Do You Know? And also we reviewed Green Lantern Blackest Night, which we all gave, I think the lowest rating was 9.5 and higher.
Mm-hmm.
And today we will be reviewing Marvel Spotlight number 5, the first appearance of Ghost Rider.
That's right.
But to start things off, we'll get on to that comic book news. Tim, you've got it for us. Tell us about the terrifying numbers we've been hearing about.
Okay, so I'm all for disregarding clickbait news titles and articles, but this one caught my attention, and it says DC sales quote unquote terrifying. And Jamie, I even called you after I was looking this information up.
Well, I gave you the right information, I think, after what we were doing.
So the original news article that I had found was from Cosmic Book News, and it's pretty full of a lot of heavy biased opinion. But if you can get through all that, the numbers don't lie. So basically, what it is over the course, like from October, let's go back to October of 2021, sales for DC books were relatively high, and you had a lot of new things taking place in the DC universe, one being Kal-El's son, the new Superman, who has come out as bisexual. That was a big event as far as comic book sales go, and Fear State was a big event at that time too. Either it was just getting started or it was right in the middle of it. Either way, since October, so you take November, December, and January, which we're still going through, but I mean, people can tell and people can gauge the amount of DC titles not Batman related in the top 50. Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was less than 2. Yes. It might have been one title in the top 50 of comic sales that was not Batman related, and I believe that was Wonder Woman. And the other titles in the top 50 were Batman titles, and I think it was only 1 or 2 other ones, Batman being one of them, and then I can't remember what the other was. But the point is that those titles, even though 2 of them were Batman, 1 was Wonder Woman, they did not break the top 25. Those were underneath. So the top 25 titles that had sold the most as of recently were Marvel, obviously, and a lot of independent titles. So what this tells me, and this is my opinion only, is that you have a lot of comic book readers that are getting tired of having specific things changed or altered on already established characters, and they're showing that in the sales of those books. Now, what they're doing to those characters isn't necessarily a bad thing. We can take Superman's son with that right now, and him being an original character. They're doing original things with him and doing it organically. Right. A lot of people are interested in reading that, and a lot of people are still reading that, which shows why the title is still being published, even though it didn't break the top 50. But I think given enough time and enough steam for the book to go on its own, it will be up there eventually. But the point is that and Jamie, we've had this conversation before. Sonny, I think you and I have had it too, is that a lot of loud comic book readers are very close-minded as far as how they want their books to be.
Yep.
And
I want them white, straight, with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Exactly. But the thing is that like even with Warner Brothers, with DC, you know, they're doing a lot of drastic changes, and they're not taking into account their reader base, and it shows in the sales. That I guess, yeah, that I guess is the ultimate point. Sonny, what would you say about that?
one thing I would say is also that I think it has to do with the rise of independent comic book industries or companies. Like I said, like Boom Studios, and like I said, Image is putting out a lot. There's a lot of other comic books going around. Like I said, sometimes we see the same characters over, and like I said, we love them. We'll continue to read them, but sometimes maybe people are starting to finally see like, oh, let's get into some different kinds of comic books. And I think that's a lot of things that are popular. Like I said, Berserker's coming out again, and like that's another popular comic book. And I think that's one of the big things with the numbers. But then I think also too, like I said, sometimes maybe people are getting mad with characters they love, and they're seeing them get changed, and they don't like it. And then sometimes they're close-minded people, like they're just like, nope, you change it, and they're quick to throw in when you say. I mean, we'll get into another topic in a little bit, but as soon as they see a character who is from the LGBTQ plus community, they say, oh, woke, nope, I'm done. And sometimes they don't realize some of these characters have been around longer. Like some of these characters aren't so new. It's like this character's been around. Sometimes they're just getting a bit of a spotlight.
Well, here's an example. Look at this. Remember when the new Warriors were coming back out for Marvel, when they were doing that, and people like Nerdrotic on YouTube and other things like that were really blowing up the way that things were done. Marvel's approach to that, I think, deserved the negative response, because they immediately threw it out and they're like, this is what it is, this is what it's going to be, and you're going to like it. Well, a lot of people said no, they weren't going to like it, and they didn't like it, and that's why the title was canceled before it even came out. But if things are and it's the big complaint that a lot of people have, if things are done organically, or if they're done with original characters that are created specifically for this, Superman's son being one of them, then people embrace it a lot more, and they grow to love it, and they grow to enjoy it. But if it's an original character that's taken and have drastic changes done, like North Star was an original organic character that is a homosexual in comic books. People love North Star. They have no problem.
It was a surprise to nobody. It was a surprise to nobody that he was gay,
Exactly.
Everybody
they were like,
it.
yeah, we know that. That's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah.
And then when Iceman, I was not happy with that, because I said I'm a huge X-Men fan. Iceman was the way he was for decades.
Right.
And then I said, then they suddenly switched it. Like I said, North Star was a good example.
But with Poison Ivy or Harley Quinn being bisexual, that is something that people accept, and they have grown to accept, and they have absolutely no problems with it.
Yeah.
Jamie, why don't you jump in on this?
Oh, am I allowed? I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the flow you two had going on there for a minute. I was just sitting here like thinking about what I'm gonna do tonight, what I'm getting for dinner. And, y'all two, I had no way to interject. Nope, that's what was happening. I don't even know who North Star is, so good for you both. So with how DC's looking, for a lot of people that don't know, for the longest time, DC kept up with Marvel sales. For I want to say prior to last year, or around COVID time, when everything shut down and the world went nuts, which it still is. And then prior. So what was happening was Marvel was setting out about, I think the highest I've seen was 142 issues. At one time, they had 142 titles running.
Yeah.
They were throwing whatever they could at the wall to see if it stick. DC, on the other hand, had 30. DC's sales, though, hear me out, DC's sales, though, matched with 30 issues. Their units per copy matched exactly what they were putting out.
Is that like pre-sales?
No, that's units going out. That includes
nice.
pre-sales.
Okay, nice.
So pre-sales and what they're selling off the shelf. So you got to think. I think it was at one point between the big two, and Indie is his own competitor. It's his own bubble, obviously, because there's so many. I believe the numbers were like 38 and 39. So 38 was DC, 39 was Marvel. So bringing it into now, where Marvel still got the same idea, let's just throw at the wall what we can and see what sticks. But now they got bigger events going on where every character has a book for that event, what they're doing, even if it has nothing to do with the event, which I fell into a lot of that. And then you got DC that with Dan Didio and the whole 5G kabobble, they didn't know what they were doing. So they went with Future State, which was like his 5G. You knew the ending before you knew the beginning, and the ending changed, which makes no sense. And with Future State, it ended because of the fact that technically the ending wasn't the right outcome that they had predicted, and none of those characters got books going against it. So now you got a bunch of books that have nothing to do with continuity. Literally, Red Hood has got a Suicide Squad team of zombies in one series. Then you got him in Titans. Like, I'm just using Red Hood as an example here. Then you got him in Titans United with the Titans. And then he's in Future State, which is still running somehow, which ended months ago. Future State Gotham as Peacemaker Red or Peacekeeper Red. Which one is the continuity?
Nobody knows.
Okay, now that's just for starters. Now look at Superman. Superman with Kal-El's son, he basically went away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was gone and then came back aged like 12 years.
That's that. Yeah, for
for his son. Yeah,
for his son. I'm talking about actual Clark. After he gave up.
Oh,
his name,
okay.
After everything, he went away. Let John take over because he needed to figure out some stuff. In Justice League, he's a prominent player.
So he's never went away in Justice League.
He's not gone. Which one's continuity?
Sure where to go? Yeah.
See, it reminds me that DC is back in the same state that they were right before New 52 when they did Flashpoint and changed everything and all that stuff. And now they're in the same state.
But at least with the New 52, and I'm going to say this, with the New 52, and I will fight this to the grave, and you guys can tell me I'm wrong, but I know I'm right. With New 52, everybody, no matter what, if it was an arc, they were entangled in the arc. There was Aquaman with Lantern. There was Flash with Arrow. There was this and that. And all of them took part, but each one was in each other's book. So there's always something mapping back to continuity. There was no, right now we got better stories being told as Elseworld stories than we do with mainline story. The only mainline story that I really know of is Batman, and Batman's got so many titles that I can't keep up with what is continuity for him at this point.
See, and this is something that we had talked about the other day too, Jamie, where with Justice League, the title, what are they doing? They're killing the Justice League.
So this is the big thing that's going on now. So my idea of what's happening is we're getting another reboot, whether it be soft or major. You have what was it, Flashpoint Beyond coming out, and at the same time you have the Death of the Justice League, which is starting at issue 75. Okay, tell me that doesn't sound like they're rebooting something when both of those are going at the same time.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, they're gonna kill Justice League, and then it's gonna and
then it's gonna bring them back with Flashpoint.
Yeah.
So right now, I think what they did was, DC just lost their CEO. He just stepped down.
Right, but that guy had only been in the position for a couple of years, and he had come from somewhere that was not related to comic books at all.
Right, and then the same thing with the editors.
Yeah,
the editor left as well.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at now is a Dan DiDio problem where they were like, why did he leave? What did he get fired? Did he get like, oh no, this person's just like, this is a mess, we got to figure it out.
Yeah, we're out of here.
Now we got someone in charge that's actually like, hey, let's streamline this, let's make it right, let's make DC better.
So who's in that position now?
I don't know the name. I think they announced somebody, but I'm not 100% sure. Jim Lee's at the helm of all this, no matter what way you slice this bread. And Jim Lee's always been the type of guy to go with character formation, know what to do in these situations. Yeah. I think he's held it together better than anybody else with
he's held it together with a pair of twigs and string.
Yeah. So with all that being said, I do think that it's time for a reboot. Marvel's just Marvel. Like Marvel, see, this is what I don't like with certain comic fans is people are like, oh, DC's so horrible, they reboot every 5 years. I just got a new Marvel title 2 weeks ago, and it was a reboot of a reboot.
What, Amazing Spider-Man's going back to #1, a new Daredevil series is coming out.
They don't
X-Men.
They don't have a continuity unless it's in that character frame.
Right.
So they can't really, I don't really like when people do that, but they always keep good stories, which I do get. And like Sonny alluded to, now you got all these independent companies that are coming out. Everyone was tired of seeing the same story. There's nothing new when it comes to the big two. There's nothing, the newest thing that they've had was Null against Venom.
Yeah.
To me.
But even then, there's no major lasting effects because no major characters stay dead for longer than a year or two, and then they just come back and it's back to normal. And all of that stuff. There's just no lasting effects in
and I'll leave it with
superhero
this.
comics.
Hickman did it best when he came to the X-Men. When he was in that boardroom, he literally told everybody, no one's dying. And they went, what do you mean? We can, make it interesting and kill off X, Y, and Z. He goes, no. He goes, we'll kill him. He's like, we'll kill him off, but they're going to be brought back right away. He goes, because what's the point of killing him?
There's no come back.
There's no suspense in killing anybody anymore, because next arc or next year they're coming back.
They're coming back.
The only person that stayed dead so far that's actually having some effect on anything is Alfred.
Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
We don't count him.
Even Gwen Stacy couldn't survive the stay dead forever.
Gwen Poole, leave it alone. My fact is made here, but no, it's like I'm talking about like in the last 5 years. Let's say the last 5 years. Definitely the only one that's hurt is Alfred. No, and they weren't even supposed to kill him off. They found out the day of.
Wow.
Like if you listen to anything Tom King says, because he got a lot of flack for it.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the panel, I had to go back and I dug through boxes. Like, I mean, literally boxes. I found the issue that Alfred was killed in, and Tom King says it was supposed to be fear toxin that Damian has in his system that makes him see Bane killing Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no. So I go back and they said literally that they just killed him off. That they didn't do anything else after that. They said, yep, he's dead now. Instead of making it a fear toxin thing, he had to rewrite.
Wow.
So I go back and I'm looking at the panel, and sure enough, there's the fear toxin in the background. And I'm like, I didn't notice that until now. So I
wonder how long he'll stay dead.
I'm hoping forever.
I would like to see that as well.
No, not in a bad way.
No, like for story-wise, to make it a good story. Because if he comes back, then it's not so big.
Because that next arc after he was dead was amazing. Batman didn't know what to do. He had he's still rich. He was just like, I don't know, Bitcoin rich. But like he had
get in that cryptocurrency, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right. And this is a plug. So if anyone wants to throw me a Bitcoin, he instead of throwing 5 batarangs, he only threw 4 because he was afraid of losing one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the state of DC is terrifying at the time, but I think it's gonna revamp here very shortly within the year.
Yeah, it's DC. But Jamie, there's this other great character in Nightwing that I'll let you tell us about. That I was surprised. I was like, how did I not know about this character? Why didn't nobody tell me about this character? But tell us about this character. Tell all of you about this character.
For anybody that's been living under a rock since Tom Taylor is taking over for Nightwing with issue 78. See, I'm on that King kick. It just reminds me how bad that series was. So with Tom Taylor taking over for Nightwing with issue 78, he finds a puppy and takes the puppy in and dubs him Bitewing. We haven't really seen much of him. But he's always in, or she's always in a certain panel, something to cheer, Rick or Dick up. Don't want to get cut off for saying his name too many times here. But Bitewing's finally getting the first costume, and I can't wait because we need a new super pet anyways. I'm in love with the fact of the super pets. Like, it's just awesome. Like, when you have Bat Cow, I'm sorry, you can do whatever you want with life and it'll be okay. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I believe
I'm learning a lot today.
I believe it's issue 91.
Yep.
That's going to be premiering, and I already have the variant on order, so I really don't care what anyone has to say.
So you have that variant, the one with Bitewing on the cover, or another one? Okay, nice.
Yeah, I got that one where Grayson is putting on the mask for.
Nice.
So I mean, it's cool. I'm happy that, but there's one thing I'm gonna say before you guys get into your little detail. There's with Bitewing, I need a John Wick-esque something happening. Like the puppy gets stolen. I'm not saying killed. I'm saying stolen. Don't at me, Peter. So what do you call it? With Bitewing, like, gets captured, and you just see Grayson like taking people out with paper clips and bonbons. Like it. That
I think it'd be popular.
And with Tom Taylor's writing, I think it's just gonna be like nonstop action. Like, we need that. Well, I'm sorry, I say we, like I'm telling everybody, yes, we need that.
I think you could
Yeah.
speak for everybody in that sense. Yes.
Yeah. So if it does happen, we'll make sure, hey, we mentioned it on the Codex podcast.
Yeah,
Just
it
mentioned
happened here
here
first.
Yeah.
Jamie and his crazy mind sometimes, I
Oh
swear.
my God.
But as I say, with the dog being captured, the dog, Bitewing, Haley is already missing a limb.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the dog, she is missing her right limb, her right front paw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something I thought it was a nice story when I was looking into this. I'm like, how did I not know about this character? How did nobody tell me about this character? So I
And
was
you
doing my
feel bad.
research. Yeah, you see the dog, and then also what made me think of my Dexter. So Haley Bitewing is also a pit bull, and Haley's missing, like I said, her right paw. And my Dexter at one point had a growth on his paw, and the vet was saying we may have to cut off his part of his paw, and if that doesn't work, cut off his whole paw and maybe his whole limb. So it's not a good day, but at least we got our second opinion, and he just had some antibiotics, and eventually he was fine. So Dexter has all of his
Wow.
limbs, but yeah, one was telling us to get rid of that limb, and it was his right front paw. So as soon as I saw this, I connected. I'm like, I need to know more about this character.
Mhm.
I need to mention to you guys, we need to talk about Bitewing on the show.
Yes. Issue 78 now, Sonny.
Doc, I got this cut on my finger. I don't know what it is. It's gotta
The
go,
whole
man.
arm.
Yeah.
The whole
Hey,
arm.
I got this weird like dark color on my skin. We gotta cut it off.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I didn't even tell you what limb.
Yeah, Tim, you're gonna have to get one of those Winter Soldier arms now.
I guess so. I mean, it's
You know
just
what?
a little
Actually,
paper cut, but I mean, if it's gotta go,
gave
it's
me that
gotta
choice,
go.
I would take that choice. I'm just saying, I'd make it my left one.
We have the tools. We have the technology. We can make him more of a man than he is now.
But we want to do it on a budget.
But on
Big
a budget
value, man.
of $20. Whoa, wait a minute, guys. Let's talk about this for a second.
Right.
No, Bitewing, I knew absolutely nothing about this character, and you guys had to tell me this right before pre-show. Yeah, there's so many titles out there, so many things to read, and I'm reading so many things.
This
right
was
now.
just Nightwing. There's not that many titles with Nightwing.
This one just kind of flew under the radar for me. I agree with you, Jamie. A new super pet. That's awesome. That's amazing. I love it. Hopefully Bitewing will make some sort of appearance in the Super Pets movie. That would be really cool to see.
It would be.
Speculation buying, it will probably go through the roof, as always, and then the book will plummet down to regular prices, and I'll be able to get a copy.
Or you could just go get a copy.
Or I could just go get a copy. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Stop being a Jew. Go to your little comic shop.
I go to my comic shop once a month.
Wow, those are rookie numbers.
I know. I got to pump them up.
You guys see the pulls I bring home? I'm like, geez, I got to read this much this week. Oh.
Then we move on to our next. We stay in DC, but on to our next subject, and is that DC casts their first trans character in a feature film, and the actress Ivory Aquino is playing the role of Alicia Yo in Batgirl. Now, obviously, this is causing some controversy. Some people are mad. Some people, like I said, they're quick to say, "Oh, this is DC just trying to be more woke." But the character has actually been around for more than 10 years.
Can I just say real fast? I love when you say the word woke. Like, I don't know why, but when you say woke, it makes me feel like I need to start like studying the woke culture more.
What's the character's name that she's going to be portraying?
Alicia Yo.
Okay.
And the character of Alicia Yo is trans in the comic.
Right.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, if the character is trans, then why did people have a problem with a trans actress playing a trans character? But like I said, quickly people use the word woke, and then they're just like, oh, it's DC trying to just play into the minds of the new fans. But if the character goes with the story, then I don't have a problem with it.
Jamie, I'll let you go before I have diarrhea of the mouth. So
yeah, because I'm about to do the same. I'm gonna drop some hurtful knowledge on some people. And, so this ain't the first time this has happened. DC did the same thing with Titan season 2. Jericho was as a trans character. No, the character of Jericho is not trans, but the character portraying him was. Did an amazing job. I mean, absolutely amazing. I didn't think it happened because the person was, I forgot the actor's name. It eludes me. So if you guys want to check that for me, Jericho from season 2 of Titans, see who it is. What do you call it? They did a great job with him as a casting. Everything about it from top to bottom was perfect. And you can't do anything wrong about it. Like, this isn't the first time this has happened. Now we look at it from a standpoint of this is a trans character playing a trans character. Okay, what's the problem? Now, if we got someone that was straight and, just normal everyday Joe, then we got a whole nother problem.
Yella Man is the actor for Jericho Wilson in Titans TV series.
Yes, and amazing job. As soon as someone decides to catch up, and my crew here, they'll understand. But if you had a trans character and the person portraying them was straight, there'd be a lot of backlash on there.
There already was when Scarlett
Johansson did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you look at that, it's just a no-win situation. The problem is people just don't know which way they want to play the game. Stop playing the game, enjoy the outlet.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're comic fans, we're pop culture fans. I don't care what your whole background is. If you can put a show on that I enjoy, by all means, keep going. I've had this conversation before when we talked about in the past in the comics. Now we're talking about outside the comic realm in a live action format. And I still stick by it. I don't care whatever your mindset is towards it. What I care about, and this is simple, like everybody else should have the same kind of mindset when it goes into these things, is can this person get my attention? Can they make me want to keep watching and not pick up my phone or change the channel or, hit Netflix button to change everything, go on HBO Max, that kind of stuff. Because there's some actors that I thoroughly love, and when I watch a movie,
Jared Leto.
Yes, I can't watch it
110%.
no more. I can't watch it no more. And he's something else. Like he's not even part of our universe. I don't think that guy's just off this world because no one can be that horrible at everything they do.
Oh, that's not true.
We got you, Tim. I forgot. But yeah, the point is that like we talked about earlier with the DC comic sales, Timmy brought up a good point. People kind of have that temptation of like they got that hot mouth and they want to keep running it. Well, the problem is that everyone asks for change, and I've been saying this forever, but nobody wants change. And now you got change, and now you're mad about it.
Here's my opinion. Jamie, you are 110% correct in everything that you've said.
Yay.
And we
even the
have,
insult to you.
I know.
with the exception of that. So you're 109% correct in everything you said. Anyways, we have had this conversation before several times, both here on the podcast and off air, where we just have regular discussions. So this is what I have to say about it. So a trans actor playing a trans character that is fictional in a fictional setting, and people are getting upset about it. Let me tell you guys something. Warner Brothers does not care one iota how you feel about it. They're going to do whatever they want to, whenever they want to, and you're going to be in line to go see these movies, or you're going to already have the subscriptions to their channels so you can watch it, so you can complain about it more, right? And this isn't I don't see this as news, right? I don't see that because we've had trans actors play significant roles in television shows before. I think this is a thing of celebration because an actor has a great position in a film or television show where they can do good things. That's awesome. I mean, the woman that played in Orange is the New Black, she was a trans actor too. And people didn't make near as big a deal then as they are now over a comic book character. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like we talked about last week, throwing around buzzwords that don't necessarily mean what they mean anymore, right? People throwing around the whole woke and this
Sonny.
and that. And with the exception of Sonny. Sonny knows exactly what these words mean. But it's ridiculous. It's like you said, Jamie, people want change, but they don't want it. You know,
Yes.
they want to scream for change, but they don't want to accept the change that they screamed so hard for.
Exactly.
And it's always the smallest group with the loudest mouths that want to yell and scream and claim.
Oh,
see,
you got caught.
we were talking about this
And
on the
You
pre-show.
got caught.
Got
You got
caught.
caught.
And go
And
back from where you were.
you made me
keep
lose
going.
my train of thought. But
You
anyways,
talk about the people being loud.
yeah, and it's just people being loud, and they claim to represent the entirety of the community when they actually do not, right? They represent themselves, but they want to stand there and say, I speak for everybody, and everybody says that they don't want this. Well, that's not true, because number one, I don't care. Number two, I'm going to go see the movie. And number three, I'm going to have a good time with my kids and go watch a television show or a movie. And then we're going to sit there and talk about how awesome it was or how terrible it was. And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to move on with our lives. We're going to go eat at Chick-fil-A, and we're going to go buy Chinese products at Walmart. That's what we're going to do.
You just upset all of YouTube.
It happens.
And Twitch somehow.
Well,
I don't know. Look, our viewers went from 3 to none. No.
It's amazing.
Well,
It's
we're
fantastic.
negative. We're in the negative zone.
I'm going to go eat the Lord's chicken.
We've literally gotten banned from Twitch after that. Right?
The point is nobody else cares how these people feel. So people shouldn't get this upset over anything. The best way to combat things you don't like is to not purchase them. Right. And that's not what they're going to do, because then they can't talk about it anymore.
Yes.
So they're going to be in line right next to me and you and Sonny. And
Yeah, they said there's some people who just like to complain. Like I said, if they see something they'll like, they'll just kind of pass it by. And it's something they don't like. Now they want to speak. Now they want to say, all these insults and this and that. And
I don't like pickles on my hamburgers, but
me neither.
I take them off.
Pickles.
But you know what? If a business gives me pickles on my hamburger, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to complain to them and throw the burger across the register. I'm going to take the pickles off and eat my burger.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know something, guys, that I do like? And that's being 30, because I've had 30 years of experiences so far. And one great thing that's happening is Image is launching an anthology for the 30th anniversary. So, Tim, man,
that is absolutely right. So, okay, this is straight from imagecomics.com. Image Comics celebrates the 30th anniversary of the company itself by spotlighting exclusive new storytelling in an upcoming Image anthology. So I'll go ahead and give you a little bit. The first issue of this anthology will showcase a combination of ongoing serials and standalone short stories, including the first chapters of two 12-part stories, The Blizzard by Jeff Johns and Andrea Moody, as well as the opening installments of a trio of 3-parters, Gospel for a New Century by Wyatt Kennedy and Luana Vecchio, Hopeless by Mirka Andolfo, and Shift by Kyle Higgins and Danielle Denucolo. I don't know how to pronounce it, and I apologize.
But we just trash names here. So if we do that, we do apologize. We do care about you.
The point is that it's going to be available April 13th.
My birthday.
There you go. And it's
30th, 31st.
It's not only going to showcase what Image is all about now, but it's also going to showcase what Image was then and highlight specific stories and things like that that were prominent in Image's rise to the number 3 spot.
Yes, and I gotta say, happy birthday to me on that one.
Happy birthday!
Because I will be getting that on my birthday, obviously.
When they showed Youngblood, that was enough for me.
Yeah, I was like, Tim,
yeah,
Youngblood, man. We know.
You know what? I'll even do one better to make myself feel better about coming out on my birthday. I will get you a Rob Liefeld signed Youngbloods.
I hope so. Would you please? That would be amazing. I have the perfect frame for it right now that I would use.
I know. But no, I'm actually excited for this to happen. It's the whole creative team that's part of this is just astounding.
Yeah.
It's like
from Higgins
everybody.
to Johns to the biggest names out there.
So Ed Brubaker.
Brubaker's, yeah, because Brubaker does a lot of independent because obviously he's not going to do anything for Marvel. But yeah, Brubaker being a part of it, like it's
James Tinian the fourth. He's in it too.
They say how many pages this is?
I will take a look as you continue.
Okay,
I didn't see. Maybe
based on the
Tim will find
page
it.
mark, anthologies aren't that small, so no matter what they do in that aspect, it's not going to be relatively.
Well, it is going to be a
condensed.
12-issue series.
Okay, so then, okay, so that makes sense. So it's probably going to be like
Yeah.
80-page giants, 100-page giants.
Probably.
But no, it's something that I've wanted for a very long time that I didn't know I wanted until recently, because I've just started breaking into more independent, and this is not having anything to do with Boom. This has more of like getting Saga for the first time, reading Undiscovered Country, jumping into things like Oblivion Song and Firepower.
Well, here's the retail cost for these issues. It's going to be $5.99 each, so they're going to be bigger than regular issues. I can't find a page count though. Okay. And I stand corrected. It's not showcasing older stories. This is all new material.
Yeah, but it's going to have that feel of the old. But yeah, I can't wait for it to happen. I'm excited. I know, we got a couple members of the Codex family that are excited for Youngbloods to be finally back in premonition. Yeah. And it's Image. I mean, they were the bad boys in the 90s. Let's see what they could do. Let's see what they could do in 2020s.
No, absolutely.
And I hope it would be nice to see some of the older characters like Spawn. I'm a huge Spawn fan, so I would love to see some Spawn. It's obviously some of the new ones, and and then they say, Jamie, you got me into Saga, so I have been enjoying Saga.
I did that.
So yes, I've been enjoying Saga, and it'd be nice to see Tim's favorite Youngblood. See those characters come back and just take the spotlight, and they're pretty much unbeatable. Maybe
Tim's Youngblood is my Jared Leto.
Youngblood, if done right, if done by anybody but Rob Liefeld, could be a really good and unique book. That's nothing against Rob as a person. I'm sure he's a great person when he's not at conventions or yelling at fans or talking about how awesome he is.
Or chess from a side profile.
Yeah, no, Youngblood has a lot of potential, but I think it's always been in the wrong hands.
Because there's some cool looking characters. Like, a while ago, I was like, I have these action figures. I don't know their names. And Tim, you know their names.
And the funny thing is, Tim doesn't like them, but he's like, I know who they are.
I grew up in that era. I was reading those books, and I was hating every minute of my life while I was reading them, and I had to cleanse my palate with Marvel.
A lot.
So next month we'll be going over Youngblood comics every week.
Yes, amazing.
As we show our love and affection for Tim.
And when is your birthday?
Strike File.
When is your birthday?
My birthday?
Yeah,
May 22nd.
Well, we know what we're reading.
We know what we're going to review.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will have a mail call when I get gifts from these two fine, upstanding citizens, and I'll let you know exactly what they get me.
Youngblood.
50 copies of Youngblood.
I found them all at a 25-cent bin.
Well, we want to see that Youngblood poster in the background.
Joke's on you guys. I already have Youngblood issues over here. So.
And the poster hangs above his bed.
There is no poster above my bed. That's a lie. Whoever told you that was completely wrong and misinformed.
You told me that.
Exactly. Moving on. Our work, Sonny. How's it going? Right?
Okay, there we go. So we're done with our comic news. That was fun. But with our works, I've been hitting those numbers, guys. Like I said, my story when it came to Be Alive and Desired, I said, let's try to hit 2,000 by the end of the month. We have passed 2,000. So I'm happy with that. With Tied Up, it is past 4,700. And with the story of a series about a series, I was stuck at the 1,100 mark for a while, and we finally passed the 1,200 mark. Nice. So I'm glad that all my stories are starting to get more views and reads and all that I'm happy with. Hopefully next month even more. But the big thing for me is I've been pretty busy this week, is that episodes 2, 3, and 4 of a series about a series are in pre-production.
We're losing Sonny for the next 6 to 7 years.
Bye, Sonny.
I'm still here. I'm still here, setting things up. Auditions will be soon. I've been talking to a lot of people about the open roles, and then also trying to get more people on board to be cast and crew. So I'm really excited about that.
Can the Code Z morning podcast make its triumphant return in all of the episodes in some way or somehow, because this is gonna be great.
That would
So that's
be
I'm looking.
amazing.
I'm looking at everything. I'm taking all these notes down to see when can I add this. When do I need extra voices? And I
Oh,
know two
definitely
guys I can
sign
go to.
me up.
Yes,
And two guys I can go to.
110%. Sonny, I already called you after I watched the episode. What can I do to help?
Yes.
Yes, so keep them. I thank you, and we'll be in talk. So
I watched it like
pre-production.
I think I texted you. I watched it 3 times that day when it came out just to get a feel, just to get it better. Like, and plus I always like hearing me and Tim talk about how great you are. I wish
Don't
you
forget
had
me
the
flexing.
that's I don't need to forget that's my screensaver on my phone. But my point is that you need to use the Immortal Egg footage that we did use for you, because if not, then that was a waste of pure gold.
No point of waste. It is pure gold. It's just where can I fit that gold in the show?
At the beginning where it belongs.
That's right.
You
Absolutely.
don't even need to talk about you. You can have the headphones in and be like, and then just play that.
Could be there. Could be somebody driving the car.
Yeah.
Always got ways. Always thinking of plans. Always. But yes, and then obviously, still here for the Codex podcast tomorrow. We're on Twitch right now. When this airs on YouTube, it will already be on there. But if you're watching us on Twitch live, hello. And tomorrow we will be having an episode of Boom Thursdays, and I will be reviewing Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer issue number 2.
Yes.
And you guys have some more news going on. Tell us what's going on with the Codex.
We do, with the whole Codex crew here. So first thing we got is Decoding Panels released an episode yesterday. So if anyone's watching on YouTube right now and didn't watch on twitch.tv/Codex podcast, you can check it out. It came out Tuesday. It is Punisher Circle of Blood issue 1. My mouth got dry even saying that.
It's a good Decoding Panels, one of my
is.
best pieces of work, and it only gets better from there.
When you say
Jigsaw,
best,
man, Jigsaw.
when you say best pieces, you mean Jamie fixing 20 pages of dialogue?
No, my Jigsaw, dude.
Jigsaw.
That's the greatest work I've ever done.
Yeah, we're gonna just cancel Decoding Panels now. It's over. We don't need to do anymore.
Give me the Oscar, the Emmy, and the Grammy right now.
No. So we're gonna have more breaking the codes. We're starting to get more fluid with it. I obviously had to miss this weekend because if you guys didn't notice, I kind of changed some things up. I wanted more of a stream room. So you guys weren't staring into my closet and seeing when I need to do laundry, because I think that caught my eye more than anything. It's like, wow, I didn't do laundry that day. But yeah, we got a lot more episodes of that, a lot more topics. Sonny hopefully will join us for one. We have a lot more coming. We have more interviews for you guys that we're planning in the process of. So just keep a lookout for those one shots, because obviously you guys are actually liking them and viewing them. So
yeah.
So yeah, awesome and quick.
Yeah, I mean, Decoding Panels is in full force. Circle of Blood issue 1, like you said, Jamie, started yesterday, or if you're watching us on YouTube, earlier this week. It's going to be awesome. 5 issues. Check it out. Really cool. There's
and the full story.
And the full story, yeah. And if anybody hasn't noticed, the single issues for White Knight have been removed, and just the short story just the story itself is available on YouTube, which will make it easier for you to watch it all in one sitting. And Jamie gives you plenty of breaks in there too.
Yeah, so you can use the bathroom.
Just
don't shut it off, because I have it broken down and that took time, and you guys gotta like it.
But yeah,
a lot of work. You guys did great with that.
But yeah, just to reiterate, there's those breaking the codes coming out. We're trying to get Sonny on an episode. We're going to be talking about 5 movies that define the industry, are comic fans too critical, and a bunch of other topics that we have lined up to talk about too.
And the one I picked, because he never wants to talk about it. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it is either, but it's written down.
Oh no, our comic event's too much now.
That's right. There you go. So lots of good conversations, and breaking the code is one topic, no script, and we just sit there and we have a chat for about 30 minutes. It's pretty awesome.
Check that out, guys. And well, now we move on to something on the hunt. I've been talking about Dark Ages, We're all getting them. We're all collecting. And I told you a while ago that I went to a comic store and they didn't have it. So I ordered Dark Ages #4. And yesterday I thought, oh, I'm going to have a mail call. And I didn't because the package seems to be lost or it's running late. And this has been happening multiple times. It's just Illinois post office. Something's going on. One of my friends, and he is a viewer, he watches a lot of our shows. Dan, I'm talking to you.
I was about to bring him up.
Tell
Find that package.
He works at the post office. Dan, tell those coworkers of yours to quit twerking and to do their jobs. And I want my comic books.
Yeah, Dan, hook the brothers up here, man. Like, we need you. Like, be our superhero, and we'll talk about you more in the podcast.
Yeah. Also,
Essentially in this voice.
My Christmas tree is still up because I ordered a box of it, and again, lost. All these things are lost.
Sonny, that tree's got to come down.
The tree is still up because the box didn't
to put the Christmas tree in. Yeah.
Is it like a real tree or is it? Wait. How? First off,
a Christmas tree.
Just leave it at that, Jamie. It's a Christmas tree.
I'll talk to you after. I got questions.
Fake or real, it doesn't matter.
And then it's real to me.
Real to me.
But I finally ordered Timeless for a decent price. But now I'm like, well, I shouldn't get.
Did you get them as minutes?
No, that one. I'm just still trying for that one, but I'm like, at least I get one. I ordered King the Conqueror's one, the regular.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, don't get too excited because who knows what's going to happen to my mail.
Right. Or if they're going to actually package.
Yeah. And I was looking for that Quasar #30. It came with a few more. And then I was like, oh, good. A bid. I was like $8 for that issue I want. A couple other issues too. And then I go to sleep. I wake up. And right before it went, somebody paid 50 cents more than me. So it got away from me.
Sniped.
I love when that happens.
That Miss Minutes variant is going for $50 right now.
So stop being like stingy. Like if you like something, buy it.
The bids will go up.
That's ridiculous.
You put it on the bids.
The longer, and this is the truth. The longer you wait right now, the more it's going to increase.
You know what would be so funny and hilarious is
if you actually bought it.
No, if my LCS put it in my pull box because he likes to toss things in there. And if I go in there in February and he's like, hey man, check this out, dude. Yeah.
Tim, my birthday is April 20th.
Well, Sonny, we'll see.
I'll trade you that Youngblood collection for
right on. Yeah. What do you got for Youngblood, man?
Yeah.
We'll talk after the show.
Youngblood for Miss Minutes.
Done.
That sounds like a bad movie. I'm just saying, Youngblood for Miss Minutes.
It does. It does sound bad. Oh, but it'll probably make the movie because some of the movies out nowadays are ridiculous.
And on to no.
So, any more things that you guys are on the hunt for, or should we move on?
I'm still working on New 52, which is going to probably be what I say till we finish the show.
Tearing up X-Men, I think I have 2 issues.
Good, I'd tear up the issues too. They're horrible.
I was just going to say, don't tear up X-Men.
I have 2 issues in the 300s, 350 and 346, I think. And once I get those, 346 is on my radar. That's the next one I'm going to get. 350 is a little more pricey. But once I get those, I will have an uninterrupted run of Uncanny X-Men from 283 to 544.
I like how you had to reassure yourself. I know.
I'm just not looking at my CLZ right now.
Like your shoulder went back the more you said it. So I don't really trust
about it.
What you're saying there.
I'll get the exact numbers for you here, sir.
No, I don't need them. Don't go on your CLZ app. You'll hurt your fingers.
I'm already on there.
All right.
You're going to get a paper cut, and then the doctor's going to tell you have to cut your arm off.
Yep, it's done.
I got a paper cut. We're gonna take your ear.
It'll be 283 through 544. All I need is 346 and 350.
Oh, speaking of on the hunt kind of thing, since we're bringing up X-Men, I gave you 2 homework that I have not yet seen.
I gotta get to it.
I am gonna attempt to get into the X-Men. And I asked these 2 goofballs if they can give me recommendations on what to read. So if anyone else out there has recommendations on where I should start or what arc I should read, please drop a comment below. I want to get back into them. I want to like them. I'm just tired of seeing Cyclops be Cyclops.
Sonny, first one off the top of your head, buddy.
First one I'm thinking of right now is the Mutant Massacre.
That's a perfect one to do.
That's something
If you want 90s awesomeness, the Extinction.
I'm a 90s baby.
Or the Extinction Agenda, whichever one that is. The
Yeah,
one
just give me
Agenda, Mutant Massacre was like later 80s.
Yeah.
Jamie,
just give me
Mutant Massacre
issue numbers and what tie-ins if they have any, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Sonny was saying that there's tie-ins to certain ones they was talking about.
Yeah, I think because I have Mutant Massacre, and there's like a picture, and it shows you like which way to read. Like this
I have
takes place,
Extinction
this one's
Agenda
going on.
over on my bookshelf.
Awesome.
I got it somewhere. I think it's the red one. Is my Extinction Agenda.
Sweet. So I'll definitely be checking that out.
Yeah. And speaking of Mutant Massacre, real quick, for those of you, if you look for the Mutant Massacre, I have the regular cover. If you get the milestone version, the cover shows Mr. Sinister and Gambit, and neither appear in the story. So don't.
That was just for bias.
Gambit. Yeah, truly. Like the story's great itself. You know, you have all these amazing characters, but I don't know. Like, Mr. Sinister's mentioned once, so that's it. Gambit, there's no mention of him. He doesn't appear in comics till years later. So I don't know why they put them on the cover.
That's your first appearance. No.
Yeah.
Gambit's in this story. Wait a minute.
It's like my favorite thing. Like which like anytime there's a cover, it's like which hero will die, and they got like heroes that aren't even part of it.
Yeah. But that is on the hunt. So we got some reading to do. We got some finding comic books to do, and now we get to our topic of the week, which is to grade or not to grade. And as usual, Jamie has our top 3 comments
in no particular order. And the first one we have Alex Program. Personally, if I were to get something graded, then it would be a variant cover. That's our first one. Thank you, Alex, for throwing it out there. Now we got Neil Tex Hickman. Unless it's a serious book like Fantastic Four #1 or something, nah, comics are meant to be read, not shut in plastic. And then lastly, we have Bear Reese Geneva. Hopefully I'm saying your last name right. Sorry, we kind of do that here. The fact that you can free a book after it has been returned and resubmitted in the same company and get a different grade is problematic to me, especially when the price tag of a 9.6 and 9.8 is much more of a leap. It is too subjective for me. Then again, I'm not a seller, and for the most part, I already know what I'm willing to pay for a specific book. I want based on how important it is to me. So again, thank you guys all for send your comments, let us know what's going on, and make sure you put more comments down below. What do you guys think? Should we the slab or not the slab?
Sonny, go for it.
So I could go for it. Right? I was gonna have you go first, but I'll go first because I know you got some things to say. But
I got some talking points.
Oh dear God.
For me, I liked what the second comment said about comics being meant to read. Like that's how I am. I read them. I look through. I mean, I obviously everything I just try to keep in good condition, but I'm more of a reader, and I think I'm not against grading, because if you have like one that's going to be worth a lot of money, sometimes it's cool to say, look at this. I have this. It's like I said, 9.6, 9.8, and it's this special issue. I think only if it's like a special one. But me, I know I'm such a reader. When I love my comics, I like to read them. I like to look through them. I don't think I'd be able to have it graded and be like, I'm never going to open this again. And obviously, if you open it, there you go. You just wasted your money and everything. It's not the same grade. So, like I say, if it's a special issue, I'd be fine with it. But usually, I just want to enjoy my comic books.
I am not opposed to grading at all. Like we talked about in the pre-show, with CGC and CBCS and even PGX, they have created a secondary market where prices of older books are more stabilized. Older books can be preserved, and even books, that have sentimental value can be preserved too. And that's what I dig the most. Like the one graded book that I have is a book that is absolutely worthless. Nobody cares about, and it's Amazing Spider-Man number 351. It's the first official issue that Bagley started his wonderful 90s run for Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's worth like $1 and graded 9.8, which that one is, I think sells for like $38 or $40. Book that nobody cares about. I care about it because it was the first comic book that I ever paid for with my own money, right? So that's why I have it graded. Now, as far as like major grading and stuff like that's a big business, right? Grading older books like Action Comics #1 or Detective Comics #27 or Amazing Fantasy #15 or Youngblood #1. You have to preserve these books, and you have to make sure that Youngblood aside, but
talk about a $30 to $40 book.
But these books,
I'll give you some crumbs.
These older books that need to be preserved, that need to be taken care of, and need to be seen by future generations in their hands. That's what grading is for. If you want to read your books, read your books. That's exactly what they're made for, and that's exactly what they're intended for. But if you want to preserve some of them too, then do that. Get 2 copies.
Yeah, point. And you know, when it comes to grading, I have a problem. Well, I have issues, obviously. Both up there and behind me. But right now, with everything going on, it is so hard to get your book into CGC and get it on a return basis quickly back to you.
I've heard of some people waiting a year.
More. Especially if it's a good book, like something big. I don't think I trust it in someone else's hands for a year. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna wait till a convention where they can do it in a weekend and I can be just done. But I have this problem where, like, I don't know, I'm like a 5-year-old, and once I have it, I'm like, yay, and I'm like, okay, I'll go get this graded. And then I'm like, no, yay, and I'm like still looking at the cover, because honestly, if I could get a couple graded off the top of my head, I'd get my Firestorm #1, and the first appearance of Killer Frost. I'd get the first appearance of I don't know, Miracle Molly from Batman. She's one of the newer ones. And same thing with oh my god, I'm blanking, Punchline. Joker's new girlfriend.
I have a small box filled with, I think, 7 or 8 books that I'd like to get graded. A lot of them are Art Germ variants, and then one is Crisis on Infinite Earths #7.
And I got the same thing. I got the Flash issue of Infinite Earth. I've got all those. And you know, I want to send them out, but it's kind of hard for me too, because I don't wait that long. Not even that. What if something does happen? Because I've heard
Jimmy doesn't want to wait for his life to be over.
Yes, I don't want to wait for my lunch to be over. But no, it's literally the fact of, if I can do it in a weekend, I'm gonna do that. If I gotta wait a year and then my comic gets lost or destroyed in some manner, I will lose it.
Well, see, and that's why I think like CBCS is coming up in the industry. I know CGC is the pinnacle. I know they're the top, and PGX is dumpster diving, because so many bad things have happened with them. But CBCS is becoming a legitimate grading company, and I think, me personally, whatever anybody else does with their books to get them graded, I don't care. But CBCS, I think, is the one that I'm leaning more towards, not for resale value, but just for encapsulation and to be able to display.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, if you've seen the ones above my closet, which I think you've seen for 30 episodes now, those are in plastic cases, but those are hanging plastic cases. Those don't. I'd rather have that and showcase them and be able to take them out and know that they're still protected and I still have them. I mean, it'd be cool, to have a 9.8. Anything over 9, I'd be happy with. Yeah, but I'm not going to take a risk when the reward is so much more to me.
Exactly.
Good topic of the week, and we will post another topic of the week soon. But so that is it for topic of the week. And do you know what time it is?
I don't know, Sonny. Would you tell me what time it is? Because I don't have a watch on.
Yeah,
it's time to play. Do you know?
Oh, the game that we play every week now, because you know, we want to just see who's the smartest out of all of us.
and it was not me last year.
It's not me ever.
Well, except for last week, Jamie. It was your
Yeah,
redemption.
it was my redemption. But you guys asked me the questions I actually knew, and I wasn't looking at my show notes. Like I made a mistake that day when we were actually doing it. And like I said, me and Sonny had that conversation after show. I'm like, dude, I should never look at those show notes.
Okay,
That's just gonna haunt your nightmares, man.
Yes, forever and ever.
From Kruger.
So what, Jamie? You won last week. Sonny, you and I have a tie.
Mm-hmm.
And I won week.
And you won 1 week. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, technically, if you count the tie as a victory, Sonny is winning.
Yes. Okay. So it looks like from the show notes that I can finally look at. I shouldn't have. We're doing me, you, Sonny, then Tim. Okay. Yep. All right. I just want to make sure that before we go into it. Thank God. No.
But you said me, you, Sonny, then Tim.
No, I said me, you, Sonny. I meant to like you, Sonny, and then Tim. Okay, so guys, Ghost Rider has had a long lineage of characters from Johnny Blaze to Robbie Reyes, Danny Ketch. But do you know who is the Cosmic Ghost Rider?
I know he's got a red head and a big giant bike, and he was a Herald of Galactus at one point. Is that right?
He is Frank Castle.
Final answers?
Yes.
Frank Castle's correct.
Frank Castle?
Yep. And during the Thanos run, written by, I believe that was Cates the whole time, Frank Castle was the Cosmic Ghost Rider. They even came out with his own series on how he became what he was.
Yep. That's amazing.
I have it all too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. It's a crazy one, but I enjoyed it.
Especially when he's going back trying to kill baby Thanos. It's great. Yeah.
That's how I was like, I do need to check out this issue. I do need to check out.
Killing babies is in Sonny's wheelhouse.
I get a quarter point because I knew what he looked like.
No.
A nickel.
Nickel, right on. Okay.
It's a shaving.
Sliver of a point.
So on to mine. Mine is Ghost Rider, Marvel Spotlight. Okay, so Jamie, you were mentioning some of the Ghost Riders.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when Danny Ketch became Ghost Rider?
Sonny and I have the same first question.
So the same first?
Well, okay. All right. Are you looking for just the year?
I was going to say the year, yeah.
1990.
Yeah.
1990.
That's why I was hoping Tim would go first once he said he had the same question. So now Tim, yes, what's your alternative question in?
I don't have one.
Think of something on top of your head.
Close to it?
No, my first question is what's the first appearance of Danny Ketch as Ghost Rider?
I'll let you guess first.
That one? What was the first appearance?
Yeah, Danny Ketch as Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider 27.
I would say Ghost Rider, the 1990 Ghost Rider, number 1.
Sonny, you're correct. See, so there you go. All right. Yeah, what was it? May of 1990.
Yeah, a little bit after, literally weeks after I was born. I was born April 29th, so right after I was born.
So there you go. This
worked
fumble.
out.
Yeah, everybody's got a point. We're all on the board. Participation.
Yes. All right, so back to me.
Back to you. That's right.
Got it. Okay, so the next two are true or false questions.
Oh.
All right, so we all know Johnny Blaze is a loner and doing his own thing, doesn't really have a team. So true or false, do you know if Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze was ever a part of the Fantastic Four?
True.
That's a loaded question. I'm going to say false.
It's true. He was part of a team when the Fantastic Four left. And it was him, Wolverine, I think it was She-Hulk and somebody else.
Spider-Man was.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah. So
I'm thinking of a what if issue.
No, I don't count on what if issues for that one.
Okay. All right. So Sonny, you got a point on that?
Yep. So 3.
Okay.
3 for me. Okay.
So he wants to make sure he knows how many points he's got.
I've got
I'm trying to break my record. My record is 3.5. Okay. So my second question, since we know Marvel Spotlight number 5 is with Ghost Rider,
Mm-hmm.
who was the title character of Marvel Spotlight number 1? Do you know who was the title character of Marvel Spotlight number 1?
No.
Fing
Baron
Fang
Mordo.
Foom.
I say Baron Mordo.
Okay. The answer is Red Wolf.
I was close.
And that's actually funny because Red Wolf didn't come back until much, much later.
Yes, yeah, I don't hear much about Red Wolf. Yeah. Okay.
They really retconned the character.
Okay, so moving away from Ghost Rider, let's recap some of the comic news that we talked about today. So with Image Comics 30th anniversary coming up in the anthology that they're doing, do you know what the first published Image comic book was?
Let's say Spawn number 1.
I'm gonna go with Wildcats.
No, you both are wrong. The first published Image comic book was Youngblood number 1.
We just didn't want to say it. We didn't want to hurt your feelings.
You could have said it.
As soon as you're like, I'm gonna take a question, I was just gonna be like Youngblood. Just joking before you even said
Yeah,
anything like
but that's what I thought. But Sonny gave a serious answer, and I'm like, I don't think I want to do this to him.
All of them were published together, but the first one sold. The first published Image comic book was Youngblood number 1. Spawn number 1, Savage Dragon, Wildcats, Wetworks was delayed. Shadowhawk didn't appear first until Youngblood number 2, I believe, and then his series came out later.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
but
my turn.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so this is another true or false. So we all know that Ghost Rider's Penance has affected a lot of people over the years.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few select that it has not. So, with that, do you know, does the Penance affect Deadpool? True or false?
False.
I was gonna say false as well.
You guys are both right.
Yeah.
It literally makes him just laugh because he just doesn't care. It's the same thing with Thanos. If you read the Cosmic Ghost Rider, remember he kept taking his skull every morning and just looking into his eyes and just laughing at everything he's massacred.
Yes, yeah, that was a good one. Surprisingly good read. Okay, so 4, I've broken the record.
You are at 3 points, Sonny.
Nope.
4.
4 points.
4. How are you at 4?
Because he got 3 right, and this is before. He said false on this one.
Very true. There you go.
See, Tim's trying to sabotage
Tim's
you.
fired again. Tim's fired again.
Let me go ahead and recalculate these numbers.
Yeah, beep boop, beep beep boop boop. Let me put it in the system. Give me a second. Takes a second to warm up. Beep boop, beep boop. Oh, it is 4.
Okay.
All right, so Tim, you've been fired, but we'll let you continue the episode.
All right.
I don't think that's a great idea.
I'll pack my things and put them in a cardboard box and walk out after we go off air.
Yay.
Make sure don't forget those Youngblood issues. God knows. All right. So still on to Ghost Rider. But we know that the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider wasn't the original one. Obviously, we know he's the one with the flames. But there was another character, a Western Ghost Rider, who was in all white. But the character's name was changed. Do you know what the Western Ghost Rider's name was changed to?
No, but I know it's Sam Elliott.
In the movie, wasn't he called the Caregiver at first or something like that? That's what I'm going to go with.
I want to say it was the Midnight Rider or something like that.
So in the movie, he was the caretaker, but Jim, would you say? So the Midnight Rider? It's so close. So there are 2 things. I would have accepted either answer. He at one point was called Knight Rider, but it was changed.
I was going to say that because of the Knight Rider, the show.
Well, it was changed not because of that.
I know.
It was changed from Knight Rider because the news people started to refer to the KKK as the Knight Riders. So they took that off.
Yeah.
And then now the Western Ghost Rider, for many years, since the 70s, he is now the Phantom Rider.
There you go. Okay. Well, history lesson for you guys.
You know, obviously not.
All right. Question number 3, last one. Sticking with Youngblood here and some other stuff. What comic title did Youngblood and Savage Dragon first appear in?
Youngblood #1.
Wizard Comics.
What was yours, Jamie?
Said a wizard.
The answer is no. So
Not either, because they never existed.
Exactly. Youngblood and Savage Dragon's first appearance were not in their respective solo titles. It was in a comic series called Megaton Comics, and it was an independent title that ran from 1981 to 1987, and they had some other things in there too.
Almost like a spotlight.
Yeah, something like that. So Youngblood's first appearance was done as pinups in Ram #1. And that was part of the Megaton Comics line. And Savage Dragon's first cameo appearance was in Megaton #3.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
More history. That's what I love. Do you know?
All right, Sonny. That is another one for you. I didn't even come close to you. I had 2 points. Jamie had 1. You had 4.
New record.
Yeah.
I'm calling for you. Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, Sonny, you're in the lead with 3. Jamie, you and I are tied at 1.
Oh, he's got to beat you. That's all I care about. Sonny can have the whole game. He could be like 400 wins.
Come up with super difficult questions from here on out, so Sonny doesn't get any of them right.
Well, here's the fun part about Do You Know? Is that I feel like Sonny studies extra hard, thinking we're gonna like, oh, it's Ghost Rider this week, so I'm gonna study all the Ghost Rider questions that I possibly can before we do the show, so I can win.
He studies it like a Jeopardy contestant.
Yeah.
Learn every single topic.
Johnny Blaze?
You are correct, sir, for $100. I'll take What is Ghost Rider for 200, please.
Who is Robbie Reyes?
Last week I wasn't all prepared with those Green Lantern first appearances. I'm like,
oh my god!
Usually,
like Jamie says, you'll never forget them.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So Do You Know is in the week, and I'm sure you all know that next week will be more Do You Know. And now we get into our review of Marvel Spotlight #5, the first appearance of Ghost Rider.
Ooh.
All right.
You guys ready for me to take this one away? To take us all into hell? Well, Ghost Rider is, Ghost Rider #1, Marvel Spotlight #5, Ghost Rider was conceived and written by Gary Friedrich, edited by Stan Lee, drawn by Mike Flug, lettered by John Costa, and aid and abetment by Roy Thomas.
You wrote it down the same way I did.
I actually screenshotted the picture. So
I'm surprised Dukeshire didn't letter this.
Dukeshire, this is where he learned how to do his stuff from.
Yeah.
Right now, starts up Ghost Rider. We start a story off in the rain, and we see somebody driving through. The story, the narration pretty much tells it as if you are Ghost Rider. The way it says you are driving through the rain. You are basically, your head is on fire. So Ghost Rider's driving through the rain, and then he sees a mugging. He sees people. He sees some criminals kill somebody in what looks like either a mugging or carjacking. They see Ghost Rider, so they start to chase him. In the beginning, I was like, they're not going to mention that this guy's head is a skull and it's on flames. And then it goes into detail that Ghost Rider says, oh, good thing they don't see me yet.
Those flames are kind of creepy, man. I don't know about forget that guy. Nothing a bullet won't take care of.
Yeah. They chase Ghost Rider, like I said, into an alley. Yeah, I said they think a bullet's gonna take care of him, but Ghost Rider sets some fire on them and scares them off. Then we go back to Ghost Rider's past, where he starts to become Johnny Blaze again. And we learned that as a child, he lost his father, and he was taken in by Crash Simpson and Roxanne, the daughter. And they eventually said they were motorcycle stunt riders, just like Ghost Rider's dad. And then Ghost Rider, eventually he's learning about it. Johnny Blaze. He's learning, he's doing all these great tricks. And then suddenly in the show, before we're practicing for the show, the motorcycle catches on fire and it's about to explode. So he takes it out. He drives it out of the tent because he knows it will explode and it will mess everything up. And he crashes into a tree. And then suddenly the woman who was like a mother to him, she goes to see if he's okay. and the motorcycle explodes and it injures her. And on her deathbed, she says, "Promise me you'll never ride in the show." So Johnny does. And then as he's telling her that he loves her, that she is his mother. She was his mother. She died. So that's when Johnny says, he wants to live up to the promise he made to the woman that was his mother on her deathbed. He wants to be done. So Crash and Roxanne, they're going forward with the shows. They want to know why he doesn't do it. And he's just kind of staying quiet about it. And even Crash, who's been like a father to him, is like, are you turning Yella? And eventually Johnny Blaze doesn't. He practices. He says, "You know what? I never said I can't ride alone. My promise was not to ride in the show." And Roxanne catches Johnny practicing, doing all these crazy tricks. They talk. They have a bit of a heart-to-heart. There's a big old smooch, and then he's happy. He's in love, but then suddenly, the man who's been a father to him, Crash, says he has cancer and he's dying. He has about 1 month left to live. So Johnny does a not so smart thing, and he calls on Satan to help him. And Satan later on,
like we all do.
Book. But I'm a man of faith. We all find out that later on, that Satan is actually Mephisto, but in the book it says Satan. And he makes it, and Johnny Blaze makes a deal. He says, you give me, he says, help my father live. Please don't let him die of cancer. And Satan / Mephisto says, okay, but I'll come back on you. I'm gonna make you work for me. And Johnny Blaze says, okay. So Crash is healed, and he no longer has a cancer. He's doing great with the show, and then has a horrible accident. And now Johnny is pretty upset, but Satan says, I told you he wouldn't die of cancer. He didn't die of cancer.
Tough rocks, kid.
Now you still owe me. And then that's when he becomes the Ghost Rider.
Right.
So that's pretty much taking you through the story. Did you say anything?
No, I was saying after you're done, I want to take the reins on this one and steer this motorcycle the way we need to.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan, so it was cool to see, the origin of Ghost Rider, the story, and I'm somebody I really like. Somebody's really about the storytelling, and this is not an action-packed comic book. This isn't him fighting. He doesn't fight Mephisto or anything like that, but it's his story. It's the story of a fan favorite, somebody I know I'm a big fan of, Ghost Rider, and it was nice to see all these things from growing up. Everything I thought it had emotion, it had excitement. The artwork, it's 70s, so the problem I had with it was once in a while their eyes, if they were crying, it looked like they had nothing under their eyes. It looked like their eyes kind of just dripped. But other than that, I loved it. Like I said, I love the character of Ghost Rider. I recommend it. I'm sure a lot of people, maybe they won't like it as much as me, but if you're a huge Ghost Rider fan like me, you got to read it. So this is one I love, and I look forward to. I'll revisit this one again. Like I said, as being a huge Ghost Rider fan, I give it a staggering 9.6.
Wow.
All right, Sonny. Man, coming out swinging on this one.
Yeah.
And normally, for those of you that don't know, I am not a fan of. I'm a fan of all their stuff, but I'm not a fan of too much narrative boxes. In this case, it was very, very balanced, and I really did love it. You got one panel, which is really rare back for that time, because they try to give you more bang for your buck, and they want all the information. But Sonny, you pretty much hit everything right on the head. I think you left out the whole they got Madison Square Garden, and that's when he had asked Satan to, keep him okay so he can make it, and he crashed on the big show. But I have two problems with this book, and this is all I want to talk about because these are my two biggest problems. One, not one time have they mentioned in the entire book that he was reading books on Satan. All of a sudden, he became the Satanist that could figure it out without any explanation whatsoever.
Because he had been doing it in the past.
Yeah, which we saw.
In one panel.
Yeah. So that was that was one thing that was like, we could have dug a little deeper, I guess. That's the time you could dig a little deeper. My other problem was with Roxanne. I've never hated a character in my life. I hate this lady.
What are
You're
you,
just
a coward?
But it was like, I understand now. It was for, mom. Come back later. You're just a coward. You don't care. Before mom passed away, you're just a coward. It's like, how many times are you gonna come back and forth? That's the most toxic relationship I've ever seen. And people want to talk about 2020 being horrible. Look back at the 70s. Obviously, we were missing something back there.
1971, ladies and gentlemen.
Jeez. She was just every 5 seconds flip flop. Like she needed some some Valium for some bipolar medication or something. Like that was my only problem was she didn't do the character justice. She just screwed it up more. Like I just felt like if you took her out of like certain areas, it would have been. It could have told the story. But having her in there was just like, you're a coward. And I love you. You're a coward. I love you. I'm gonna run out the room. You're a coward. But come back to me. You're a coward.
So
and somehow
Johnny Blaze.
And then somehow in the midst of all of it, I'm doing jazz hands for this because it's actually meant for it. She was reading the Satan books too, and we had no idea.
But she was pure apart though.
Yep. Pure heart.
So
we only had 23 pages.
I don't care.
What's your grade, Jamie? What do you give this spectacular piece of literature?
Aside from those two problems, it's 9.2.
9.2.
I really enjoyed everything about this. I thought it has the right balance of narration and actual complimentary word paneling.
Mm-hmm.
I thought even for the art back then, they did a good job. I do like art from back then because it really shows how things transcended through the years. And I feel like what was then and what was now had to have started from that point and that idea. Right. So, and I thought the story was great. Like you get a different perspective. Like it was Satan, not Mephisto,
right.
Until we learn later. Johnny Blaze has been studying Satanology for years, and no one.
It was
knew.
A shocker for me, but I feel like just
same thing with
he's just like Satan.
Yeah, and he's bleeding from the eyes for some reason. And then you got Roxanne that can just fall off a page. But regardless of that, it's a great story being told. I know for a fact the only reason it's 9.2 is because I was too much of a coward and couldn't give it a perfect 10.
Oh. What about Tim? You got a grade for us, or are you just a coward?
My grade is
Tim's giving it like a 5.2.
My grade is significantly lower than your guys's, and I'll tell you why.
I actually enjoyed it though. That's weird for me to actually say out loud. It made me want to read more Ghost Rider.
Well, see, okay. So here's what I have to say about it. The book itself had lots of drama, and that's a little bit different for a superhero book. And I really loved that pace. There was lots of drama in the book. It wasn't so much action heavy as it was dramatic and emotional, like you said, Sonny. It had good story flow, but it was a bit heavy-handed on the cheese factor and the convenient conclusions to things, like with Johnny Blaze in the one panel. Like I was sitting here reading it, and all of a sudden Johnny's like, well, I've been studying Satan for the past 50 years, and now all of a sudden I'm going to now I'm going to call upon him. And I'm like, wait a minute. I had to go back a page. I was like, was there something I missed? No, there wasn't. Why is he doing that? That makes no sense. And then he was basically ridiculed and bullied for most of his adult life for holding the promise to the dead mother that he never could call mother, of not going to.
He does when she's like with the last breath.
Yeah, and the man that raised him, that he calls father, treats him like garbage all the time, and he's like, you're not the son I ever wanted. You're worthless. You're a coward. You're Yella. And the girl that he's in love with calls him a coward all the time and tells him she loves him the next.
So how is this lower than a 9 for you? Is my question. I'm trying to figure that out.
So the story itself has aged better than some from this time period, but it is still extremely dated. So with that being said, the writing, I give a solid 7. Now, what people have to understand is a 7 is not a bad grade from me. A bad grade from me is hitting at about 5.5 or lower. That's where I think a book starts to turn from anything positive to mostly negative. But a 7 is a very solid number. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty solid. I enjoyed what I read, and it's not a book I think I'll ever dive into again, but it's a book I can say that I have read. The artwork, however, I like the artwork a lot more than I did the writing, and I give that a solid 8 out of 10 because it was obviously artwork of the time, but it was very solid. It was very consistent, and it was really nice to look at as I read the comic, and it was wonderful. And one thing I noticed, the motorcycle that crashed into the tree, it had the flames shooting out of it, and if you remember, in the first Ghost Rider movie, the motorcycle that he was driving around was that color with flames all over the tank and stuff. So that was a nice little nod that the filmmakers had done that I never noticed before. So yeah, writing 7, artwork 8, overall 7.5. So nowhere near the 9.2s or 9.6s, but it's still a solid issue and well worth a read.
Yes. What a Yella coward. Yella cowards all around.
It's a good thing.
Hey. I was in 9s. I don't do that for that stuff.
Yellow doesn't bother me.
I was just talking with just random people just in general. Just
Yella.
Yella.
I'm gonna look like Biff Tannen from Back to the Future 3 every time I say it. Spit on the ground.
Like the old Biff?
Yeah, the old Biff from the old West.
I mean, you guys would have a resemblance. Yeah, coward.
With that, well, guys, we will not show cowardice, and we will end this show the right way, guys, and tell y'all that it's great seeing y'all. And next week we will be reviewing, most likely, if you guys are ready for it, the Avengers Defenders War. Think you'll be ready for next week?
Maybe the following.
We'll see. Okay.
Because I think it's like 20 issues.
I'll have to send you the issue. Maybe there's a list that's giving you a longer one.
Yeah, I think so, because when I looked it up, there was a bunch of stuff on there that I was like, I can get this done, but it's gonna take.
I think we looked at the Epic collection of the Avengers Defenders War, and it had like 21 issues.
And that's that one I actually don't have the Epic collection. I just have a regular form.
Okay, so send me the regular form.
Okay, because we'll read it, Sonny, and we'll be troopers and go through the trenches and read that whole story.
No, it's a regular one, but soon. So if we don't do that next week, then we'll do it the next week. But somewhere along the lines, we will be getting to the Avengers Defenders War. Obviously, we'll be doing more. Do you know? And obviously, we'll always have some comic book news. So for me, thank you again for watching, and take care.
And as always, guys, be kind to one another. You know, especially with everything going on in the world now. And especially be kind to us, and please comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss any more of the content that we're putting out. Go check out everything we've done so far with our interviews for the 1-shots and 1.5 shots over here. And again, guys, have fun. Love every single one of you. Be safe.
And once again, guys, don't forget to follow us on all the social medias. That would be Facebook, Instagram, right here on Twitch, over there on YouTube. We're also on Spotify. All you have to do is type in the Codex Podcast or Codex Podcast, and you'll be able to find us. And we're also on all the other streaming platforms for podcasts. Don't forget, the schedule for the shows are on our Facebook page and on YouTube, and you'll be able to see when the podcast comes out. We come out on Wednesdays, as you guys already know, and it releases on the weekend on YouTube on Saturday or Sunday, whenever Jamie's able to get it out. But anyways, there's plenty of stuff for you to check out. Decoding Panels, Sonny's wonderful mail calls from the vaults, breaking the codes, the 1-shots, and so much more.
I've created a monster.
Once again, guys, my name is Tim. This guy over here is Jamie. Down below is the immortal Sonny Kruger. And you guys have a wonderful night.
Don't be Yella cowards. Follow us, subscribe to us, all that stuff. See you next week.
Yella.
Yippee-ki-yay.